Welcome to Think Like a Philosopher. In this Philosophy Lesson of the Day series, I promise that you will think more clearly, reason better, understand the details as well as the big picture, and get ever closer to the truth of things. This is Think Like a Philosopher. Today's question is Philosophy Lesson of the Day number 1. What is philosophy? To answer this question, let's open up to book 1 in my book series, the book on Thales. All right, so the ancient Greeks, there were many of them that were big, important thinkers. Here on the screen right now, we have a brief timeline. There's only 10 that you can see here on this timeline. There are obviously way more than 10 Greek thinkers, but most everyone agrees that the story starts with Thales. So you can see this arrow pointing to Thales, saying here is where the story begins. We don't know that much about Thales because we don't have any of his writings that have survived, but what we do know is that some of the biggest names in Greek philosophy, particularly the two at the end of this timeline, Plato and Aristotle, had a lot to say about Thales. They saw Thales as something of a godfather of Greek philosophy. He was one of the great early thinkers, and they looked up to him very much. This is often, if you were to put an exact point in time on a timeline and say this is where philosophy started, it starts with Thales. So I'm going to read to you a couple pages from my book, and we'll talk about this question, what is philosophy? Thales, lover of wisdom. Thinkers like knowing. Thinkers love wisdom. Thales loved wisdom. He was a philosopher. So what does that word mean? Philosopher. Well, you can see on the bottom that this comes from two Greek words, philia, which means love, and sophia, which means wisdom. You put them together and you have the love of wisdom. So Thales is one of the first people to be identified as a lover of wisdom. Here is how Thales got Greek philosophy started. Now I want to pause and talk about three words that are all very much connected and related, but also very different. As we just found out, the word philosophy means the love of wisdom. What is wisdom? What is wisdom compared to knowledge or intelligence? Are these similar words? Are they the same words? Let's get into it. You see, intelligence is the capacity to learn or solve problems or process information. Knowledge is the accumulation of facts and information. Wisdom is the ability to apply knowledge and intelligence with good judgment and experience to make sound decisions. So you see, someone could have knowledge and know lots of things, but not necessarily have wisdom. Someone could also be very intelligent. They could have the capacity to problem solve and process things very quickly, but not necessarily have wisdom. Now, you do oftentimes see people that have intelligence and knowledge at the same time, but wisdom is more of a rarity. This is probably why the word philosophy is the love of wisdom. A lot of people love to know things, they love knowledge, and a lot of people strive to be intelligent and to be able to think quickly, but wisdom is harder to achieve. I want to present to you a metaphor. A computer metaphor to help understand these three words. So if intelligence is the capacity to learn, solve problems, and process information on a computer, that would be like the processor that works with the data. If knowledge is the accumulation of facts and information, then that would be the data that is stored on the hard drive of a computer. Now, if wisdom is the ability to apply that knowledge and intelligence and make good judgment and experience to make sound decisions, then in the computer analogy, that would be the user who decides what to do with the data and with that ability to process the data. Let's get back to Thales. Thales observes the world. He observed the world all around him. He observed the earth and the heavens. Thales looked up at the sky so much that he forgot to look down at the ground and fell into a well. That is actually a true story, and he got out. He wondered about things. He asked some big questions. He applied logic and reason. He considered the sun and the moon. Our little Thales here is asking, why does the moon block the sun sometimes? as he's about to fall into a well. Notice that we have the word logic translated on the bottom as well. That will be another philosophy lesson of the day for another time. But for now, it comes from the Greek word that means true words or reason. Also, notice that we have a sun and a moon, and we're talking about, although he hasn't used the word, an eclipse. That is also a story for another time. Next time, in fact, when we talk about how philosophy got started. For now, at least, we know what philosophy is, and we've answered that question. What is philosophy? It is the love of wisdom. Not necessarily the love of intelligence or the love of knowledge, but the love of wisdom. For this video, I borrowed from the pages of my book series, Think Like a Philosopher, which goes through the history of Western philosophy from its origins to the present. If you love what you see, check out the links below to find digital and printable copies of any and all of my books on the history of Western philosophy. There is a carefully crafted kids version and an outstanding, honest, older thinkers version for each part of the story. I promise that these books will help you to think more clearly, reason better, and get ever closer to the truth of things. With crystal clear, concise language, Greek and Latin translations, and original illustrations and graphics on each page to help you visualize abstract concepts, you will not be disappointed. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It supports the channel and ensures that you don't miss any new videos as they come out. See you next time.